Okay. Prajish, we are live now. I think we can start. Okay. So, hi, learners. Uh, Welcome to this YouTube live of Software Conceptual Design course. This is first YouTube live, and it is the only YouTube live we have 4 week, only YouTube live for a 4 week course. The learning so far is, I think, enjoyable, and it was reflected in the discussion forum also. And you were responding with lot of good responses in the discussion forum under different threads. It may be questions or it may be uh, different LXIs, learning experience interactions. So it was very interesting, and we were going through the responses. Today we have with us two out of three instructors were there. So we have Prajish and Lakshmi, who are the instructors for this course and who you have already seen them in the videos, recorded videos also. Okay. So today we will be discussing important questions which you have submitted in the uh, Google form, as well as if there are some important questions in the discussion forum, we will visit those also. Also, there are some important points regarding your assignments, your performance, and the frequently made mistakes in assignment. Those are also will be under discussion. And last, which is important, anything important regarding exam, you can ask those queries in the live YouTube chat. So I'll be monitoring live YouTube chat, and we will get started with the session now. Okay. So I'll hand over the control to the Prajish.
Okay, thanks, Vishwas. Thank you for getting things started. So, yeah, thank you all for joining. So, I'm here, I'm Prajish, and Lakshmi is also here on this call. So, I believe all of you are in week 4 of the course, and uh, it's good to see that there are a lot of discussions happening in the discussion forum, and you're also doing the assignments and all of those things. So maybe we will start with uh, if there are any questions. Let's start with the questions first, and then later on we can maybe look at interesting things in the discussion forum and other things, right? So, Lakshmi, do you want to add anything now?
No, I'm good. Also, if you have, like, I would like to add to the learners that if you have any questions about Think and Link, as well as very sim and specific, please do post those questions and we can take them up.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Lakshmi. Yeah. So maybe I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes so that, learners who are joining us, you can post things on YouTube Live, and Vishwas is monitoring that, and we can take questions from there.
Yes.
Okay, maybe to get things started, one question was asked by one learner uh, in the Google form. The question was, what are the scopes for software conceptual design in the industry? Like, where does it help in maintaining the software? So, yeah, Lakshmi, do you want to maybe address this question first?
Sure, I'll do that, Prajesh. Thank you so much. So when we say, so there are two parts to this question, and I will address them separately. Now, the first part is creation of the software conceptual design itself. And the other one is when you want to, when you are trying to troubleshoot or when you're trying to look at, uh, identify any fixes or bugs in the software conceptual design. Those are the two parts of the question. Now, creation of a software conceptual design is important because let's say I'm just giving you an hypothetical scenario. A startup, a person with a startup idea wants to create some, let's say, a chat bot for a teacher in education, right? So he come up with the idea and come up with certain use cases. But then as a software developer, I assume that majority of you have taken programming. As a software developer, what you will have to think about is how do I present this conceptual design? How do I work at the problem as well as, come up with the different solutions? So for that, when you look at Think and Link as a system, you will see that it takes you through how to think about the functions, how to think about structures, and how to think about behaviors. So that is one aspect. But if you get used to this idea of function, structure, and behavior, you can also use it in coding, right? When you see that there is a piece of code, you will ask yourself, what is the functionality? You see the physical structure of the code. Then when you kind of execute it, you will see the behavior. So it not only is applicable for the conceptual design, but when you start coding, or even when you look at some other system, let's say other than a software system, you can utilize this function, structure, behavior framework for you to create or understand a system in general. Now, we go to the next part, which is troubleshooting, or looking at existing systems which already have design documents. Now, it usually does not happen that everyone will get the opportunity to start creating from the scratch, right? It could also be a possibility that you have joined a huge software company, and they are in the process of creating something, so they will initially give you a lot of documents to read, right? So when there is design documents, it is going to have these different representations. How do you integrate these representations? How do you build a model for you, for yourself, to see how these representations interact with one another? I think Verisim does that. Verisim kind of takes you through to integrate the various representations and see how each one, and see if the actually design system is sufficing, or is it are the requirements being met, right? So this kind of is like building an integrative model of different representations, and Verisim is able to do that. Verisim also has an important skill that is inbuilt. It kind of builds your mental simulation skills. Like when you see something, when you see a representation, you kind of run it through in your mind to see how it executes. So both of these systems have been developed after a lot of rigorous research on how systems should exit, what are the underlying skills in software conceptual design, as well as reading through design documents. So I see that there is a huge scope of application of these skills in software industry, and I believe that it will give you definitely give you an edge of having these skills in your toolkit. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. I think that was a very uh, interesting question also, because many a times we always think a software engineering job is all about coding, right? So maybe many of you might be trying to figure out, let me learn different programming languages, and let me try building up my skill set in those aspects, right? But this course, the the emphasis is different. We want you to think about systems. We want you to think about components. We want you to think about the design of the system. And especially now, I think with the advent of ChatGPT and generative AI and all, right? The these systems will help you do the code. I mean, it will generate code for you for most of the tasks. But uh, coming up with the design of the system, right? Coming up or using the representations which you learned in this course to come up with a design. Uh, I think that is an important skill which you need to develop as software engineers. So yeah, I think, uh, and of course, in the industry, you won't be using FBS, you won't be using Verisim, right? These are so FBS or the state diagrams, they are not the standard in every company, right? Different companies, they have different styles of working, different representations, right? But the aim of introducing these tools and these representations are for you to uh, think of them as tools which you can use, or through these representations, it is helping you develop certain skills in building models for software system, right? Yeah, so uh, yeah, that's the reason why we wanted to emphasize on these different representations in the course. All right. Um, yeah, let's see. Do we have any other questions?
Uh, Prajish and Lakshmi, I was while I was going through the discussion forum and reading their responses. So I was thinking about one point. Most of the learner are coming from some educational background. Either they are student in some program and having different courses, or they just finish their education and trying to get some good job in software industry. So those who are doing some coursework and facing some courses also and facing some issues uh, with the course projects, small course projects, software related course projects. So uh, uh, the specific question is uh, how think and link and Verisim can help them to figure out the basic small components about their course project, because the scope of the course project is very small, and how they can use Verisim and think and link to enhance their course project so that they can get a good understanding of that course project itself.
Yeah. Thanks, Vishwas, for that question. Maybe Lakshmi, you can start, then maybe I can add to that.
Yeah, thanks. So, I think, see, when you say a course project, so I think when you say a course project, is it like a capstone project?
No,
That
these
is,
are actually the micro projects, micro course projects, such as having one credit and whatever you have learned throughout the semester about the course. Only one course, one micro project is there for one course. So,
hmm,
say this is a Java course,
hmm.
Introduction to Java Programming, and for the Java programming course, how students can use Think and Link and Verisim to come up with a good course project and to enhance their project implementation.
I think the example by Prajish is a good one. See, these days there are so many generative tools to create the code, right? But what is important for us to have is let's say I would use the word a well thought through design, right? Because that needs to fulfill the requirements. So they can utilize Think and Link and Verisim to evaluate. The teacher can use it to evaluate. And in the same way, I mean, the learner can evaluate themselves. And in the same way, Think and Link can be used to create. That is one use case that I definitely see. But I think for the capstone projects, I see a major application because what really happens in capstone is throughout the year you will have to do a longish course project, right? And at the end of it, you will have to come up with a software product. Usually what really we see is that in the end, all we see is a product, right? But what was the process that they followed, or what was the design, how to document a design, and what entails in documentation. This usually is an afterthought, but that is such an essential part of the software development process. And we see that for capstone projects, the final year engineering students or even the master students can kind of use Think and Link and Verisim to, have a very rigorous design phase. That is something. And because there are not many tools for novices to explore design, and I think they can be used. Yeah. Over to you, Prajish.
Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. Yeah, I had similar points also, right? So many a times, even for teachers and even for students, what they end up showing is the final product, right? It can be an implementation or something, but uh, how do they start with the initial idea? How do they document those ideas? And how can they improve upon their initial ideas? So you can use FBS to come up with the functions, the behaviors, the structures. It can be a very small, rudimentary version at the start. Then, as you talk with your teammates, as you communicate, as you brainstorm, you can use this representation and build on top of that, refine it even more. Maybe even start implementation and go back and refine. And then if you want to look at more specific things, right, you can uh, you can maybe use design tracing and you can use Verisim to come up with a little more details about specific requirements, right? And so, as I said, these are just tools which you can use, right? The emphasis is not to use Verisim or Think and Link, but it's more of course, you can use it if you want to uh, develop this understanding, but it's more of trying to use these representations in your uh, projects so that you can, create more effective designs.
Yeah, I want to add on that point. See, that's an important point that Pradesh has touched upon. So we do not want everyone to start using creating the FBS graph, or start using Verisim every time they come across a design document, right? So what we want the students to be and everyone, like even professionals, to be trained on is these skills that we spoke about, which is not getting fixated. So if you have to get unstuck, or if you have to just start creating a design, you can use Think and Link, and how to think about functions, how to think about structures, behaviors, and link them, or creating this integrated model when you have so many representations, and verifying whether the requirements are met using only the design representation. So these are the skills that we want the students to be able to pick, and we think these are very important skills, right? So that's the key thing here. But yes, in the academic in the academic setup, I think definitely for capstone projects, we see that there is a major utility, because then we can train the students, and it's a useful thing to for the students also to kind of have access to it.
Prajish, if the questions are over, then um, can we discuss some important points regarding assignments if you have through instructor dashboard?
Yeah, so I've been looking at it. I'm not able to the scores are okay, but I'm not able to see like individual question level things. So uh,
Assignment level again.
yeah.
Okay.
Assignment level question wise, you know, distribution. So I'm not sure, or I don't know where, which specific question students are facing difficulties. So maybe now that you have brought that up, maybe in the chat, whoever are there, did you face any specific difficulties in the assignment questions? Maybe you can uh, put that in the chat, and we'll be happy to take that up.
So there is one question in the chat from Tutumani Ram. Um, Teachers, like, is there any coding related thing in this course? So, is there any coding related activity or assignment in this course? I think they are interested in knowing that.
Yeah, in this course, we don't necessarily have any specific coding related activity, although in week 2, 3, and even in week 1, we want students to have some basic idea of programming, right? And because some programming concepts are described, well, not although not in detail. Uh, so yeah, the ideally what we want learners is the type of learners who would benefit the most from this course are those who have done programming and now those who are looking to build larger systems, or the students who have even built small projects, and how do you start thinking of even bigger projects, right? um, and this is an ideal primer to an actual software engineering course. So even in the feedback I was seeing, there are many other topics which we could have covered, like design patterns and software architecture, and coding practices and all of that. Uh, but unfortunately, that was not in the scope of this course. Uh, Ideally, now that you have understood the design aspects of software engineering, now you can move on to a full-fledged, maybe a 12-week course on software engineering, where not only are the design aspects spoken about, but also software architecture, testing, maintenance, then development practices, the solid principles, all of that, right? So this is just a very small part of a large software engineering course. So yeah, specifically, even in the exam or in the assignments, there won't be any specific coding related activities, but we would want you all to know like basic programming concepts.
One learner has asked, learner name is Sridhar. Uh, Please describe about the exam, means written exam, how it will be, final exam.
Yeah, the written exam will be similar to the type of questions you have done in the assignments, right? From all the weeks of the course. Yeah, I think that's all I can say.
So, Written exam means there will be no pen and paper kind of exam, and there will be no like a typing long answer kind of exam. It will be MCQ or MSQ type of questions. And there will be centers. You must have selected centers in different cities. So there is one fixed standard software, which is TCS Ion, which runs on TCS Ion operating system. And uh, on that software you are supposed to give your exam. There are fixed set of questions, and the nature of questions mostly is similar to the assignment questions. So Vignesh is saying that we suggest the same team to provide a detailed course on software engineering also.
Yeah, but I believe there are existing courses on software engineering. So Vignesh, maybe you can um look that up. So I believe there are standard software engineering courses also. Yeah.
Yeah. Sanjeev is asking that are there any basic course on software design or basic programming? So I think yes, there are different introductory programming courses on C, C++, Java, data structure offered by other IITs also. And software design is also broad and old domain which might be covered by CS professors through different IITs also. So please go to Swayam and explore all the courses from catalog. You will get good courses. Vignesh, the questions in the exam is only of type MCQs and MSQs, which are there in assignments. Not like there is a broad problem statement given and you are supposed to solve the uh, problem by designing something or by drawing something or by coding. So not like that. Only MSQ and MCQ type of questions are there. Obviously, negative marking is there, and the criteria is also given on your portal. So, Tutu Mani is again asking that he has not submitted 1 week assignment. So, will it affect my exam? Prajish, you want to take that question?
Uh, I think, for these questions, they can directly uh, write to NPTEL. I mean, ask the support team. I think they will be able to answer this better. Yeah.
Yes, Tutumani, you can directly contact to the support email ID which is given on the NPTL. Second thing is the basic criteria regarding assignment is given on the course page. Okay, so I don't think that it will affect your exam. If you have enrolled for the exam and you will perform better in the exam, then I think you will get through. So no need to worry. Next question is, sir, can you please tell about the think and link environment? So I request Lakshmi to please explain brief about think and link and its objectives and again the outcomes.
Yeah, sure. So, Think and Link is a learning environment where the objective is for the learner to be able to create at the end of the learning environment a software conceptual design. So, when I say software conceptual design, it means that it's the initial design that you create of the software, which is still at the still it is still at the you are still trying to solve the problem. You're still trying to solve the problem, the design problem, right? So when you go through, it has three phases. And in the first phase, you are introduced to something known as the function behavior structure graph. where you can see what are the different function for a given problem. What does function mean? What does structure mean? What are behaviors, and how do they? What is the relationship between these three things? So that in the next phase, when you move on to, you can create them. You can add on to the FPS graph, and you can create. You can put in your ideas and create your version of the FPS graph. Now in the third phase, now as you create the FPS graph, there is also a step that you will have to do is to evaluate. Like there are parameters given, how do you evaluate them? So that there is a check always. It's good to have something that you create, you check, you evaluate, and then you go back again, so that if you have missed something, you can add on to. So now, given that you have learned what is a FPS graph, and you can add your own ideas to an FPS graph. Now, in the third phase, what happens is, for another problem, you have to, from the scratch, you will have to start creating a FPS graph. So this is what the learners are taken through, and as you complete every phase, the next phase gets unlocked. So I would request everyone to complete every phase so that the next phase gets unlocked. And there are many resources that you can use. There are videos there on how to explaining the concepts. There is also like a different set of, like, resource guide in the software itself. So feel free to add on to the discussion in if you have any questions in Think and Link.
Uh, there is new chat question in a YouTube chat. Lectures on the course of the software will be available on YouTube. Yes, they are available on YouTube, but you have account on Swayam. So once the course is also finished, you can also access that course later on. It's not like that. If the course is finished, you can't access those videos, or you have access to your videos as well as your assignments, your responses. You can anytime visit those responses and videos. Okay. So anything more from Prajish or Lakshmi? I think we have covered the questions as well as the basic important points in chat as well as regarding exams. So there is one important announcement regarding exam. Learners, please access your hall tickets on the time. Try to uh, uh, prepare for exam well. Go through the assignment questions, go through the content. Previous week's contents are also available for the preparation, and see the correct answer where you have gone wrong. See the correct answer and feedback. Next thing is, uh, if you have any doubt regarding exam and any technical problem, such as your name is not correctly shown on the portal or anything which is technical in nature, you can mail to the support email ID which is given on the NPTEL portal.
All right, yeah. Thanks everyone for joining, and I hope there aren't uh, any other questions. Yeah, wishing you all the best. Hope you all have a good learning experience. Yeah, Lakshmi. Want to
Yes,
add anything?
thank you everyone. And if there are any more questions, feel free to put up in the discussion forum. We have very dedicated TAs, looking at the discussion forum, and they will definitely, give us a heads up if there is a question that is burning and that needs to be addressed for the learner. Thank you everyone and all the best.
Yeah. And some people are asking about hall tickets in the chat. So I would like to say hall tickets will be released on time, a particular period before the exam. Second thing, you will get your notification in your mail. Keep checking your mail. So don't worry about it. If you have paid for the exam, you will get hall ticket on time. And mostly you will get the selected centers. Okay. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Vishwas. Thanks for coordinating this. Yeah,
Okay. Then we can wind up. Thank you.
thank you, everyone.
So everyone.